morning. Morning. Closer. I would like to call to order the 2023 annual meeting of All Saints Episcopal Church, Concord, North Carolina. I present to you, Nancy, the draft of voting members of this church.
Friends, you all have with you, in front of you, a list of the canonical members of the church under the canons of the Diocese of North Carolina. Voting members are defined as enrolled, confirmed adult communicants in good standing, regular in attendance and worship, and known to the treasurer. The chair would receive a motion to accept the list of voting members. So moved was Joe Hunter, seconded Scott Trott. Is there any discussion? I'd like to recognize the following people as new voting members of All Saints: Emma Johnson, Gary and Rhonda Kovar, Kathy Ox, and Bob Wajenka. If you are here and present, would you please stand? I know that I can see the Kovars. Yeah, there we go. Turning to report, all in favor, say of the voting members as presented, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, we have our voting members. We now will turn to approval of the minutes of the annual meeting for 2022. Those are also in front of you. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes? Steve Phillips. Second, Rita Smith. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We have meeting minutes. And now I turn to Fran Bertet.
As junior warden, I am pleased to offer the following nominations for vestry service. For election to one-year term, Anna Walforth.
Would you please stand?
Oh, thank you. Sorry. For election to a two-year term, Jennifer Cook and Tom Holder.
Please stand.
For election to three-year term, Martin Erickson, Nate Ernst, Rhonda Kovar, and Beth Simpson. And I am so excited about serving with everybody. As last year, we only had a 9-member vestry, and so we had 7 terms to fill. One person was fulfilling a one-year term. She had finished Tiffany's term, so she's eligible for a 3-year term. So I'm very excited. It took several phone calls to get people to say they would serve. And we have a full vestry, and I am so excited. And not only that, we have a strong vestry. And so
we almost have a full vestry. Because we need to vote on them. So,
please keep us in your prayers.
Mr. Chair, I move that we accept the slate by acclamation.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the slate by acclamation and close nominations. Is there a second? Alice Smith seconded. All in favor? Aye. I'd like to invite the members of the 2023 vestry, that is the folks who are just elected and the folks who are continuing in their terms into the new year, to stand and come forward.
I present to you these persons to be admitted into the ministry of warden, members of the vestry in this congregation. The Lord gives wisdom. From his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. He stores up sound wisdom for the upright. He is a shield to those who walk in integrity. I am your servant. Grant me understanding that I may know your decrees. Let us pray. O eternal God, the foundation of all wisdom and the source of all courage, enlighten with your grace the wardens and vestry of this congregation, and so rule their minds and guide their counsels, that in all things they may seek your glory and promote the mission of your church through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Amen. In the name of God, I commission you as members of the vestry of this parish And thank you for offering yourselves for service. Would someone with a camera please take a picture? Let's crowd in together, but we always have trouble getting this picture, so yes. And Kim, why don't you come as the clerk over here? Yes. Oh. Kim has served for at least 8 years as your clerk.
Does one amazing job.
1, 2, smile. 1, 2.
Thank you. And thank you all. We are really excited. So now we turn it over to Vic Clark, our treasurer.
Morning, everybody. Morning. Very appropriate that Nancy was using the word hope, because Reverend Nancy and I were talking a lot about that these last few weeks. So we're not going to put the numbers up on the screen because there's just too many numbers to talk about, and we won't be able to show you them all. So I'm going to talk in generalities, okay? So please forgive me there. Looking at 2022, we budgeted for income of $764,000. We achieved $726,000. That was a variance on the budget, and that's income, sorry. And that was a variance of negative $38,000. The expense side, we budgeted $808, we came in at $753. And net income less expenses for the year, a budget of negative $44,000, which is what we approved last year. And we came in at $27,000, so we beat the budget by about $17,000, which was really as a result of very good pledges coming in and non-pledges coming in at the end of the year. Turning the page, suspense accounts, as we colloquially know it, but really called partially restricted funds. And it's all the funds that come into us which are not dedicated to the general fund, to the operating general fund of the parish. So we had a lot of activity in the suspense funds. Total amount of $378,000. You've got the details there. I'm not going to go through the individual details. A lot of that money went straight out to the various causes that it's designed to go out to. So we sent out $264,000. And turning the page, we started the year with $96,000 in the bank account, and we ended the year with $209,000. So a lot of activity in our suspense accounts. The report of the bank and investment accounts, our banking accounts all look all in good shape. We had $1.6 million at the end of 2021. We stand at about 1.5, a little bit higher probably at the end of 2022. You'll see the last 5 accounts on that page, all the DFMS accounts. We, as with everybody else in the world, we suffered a lot of losses. DFMS investments suffered a lot of losses, so we bore those losses as well. At one stage of the year, we were down about 22% on those investments. November came up strong. I'm sure everybody's been through this. November came up strong, and December came up a little bit stronger. So I think by the end of the year, we're probably going to be down about 15% on those investments. Having said that, over the 10-year period with DFMS, it's been a fantastic investment for this parish. It really has generated returns, 10-year returns of about 8 to 9% over a 10-year period. So it's a very good investment for us in the various accounts that we have. Trust funds, we don't have too many more trust funds at this stage. The only one left really is the A.B. Palmer Trust. We have about $120,000 in that. We got 2 distributions from that trust in 2022. We do have the John and Cindy Barnard Trust that we get dividends from. And sorry, Andrea Holding, that's not a trust, that's Andrea Holding Estate. So, slight typing error. You'll find a few of my typing errors if you look carefully. Not Ruth's, mine. A quick word on the analysis, the capital campaign. It still continues, amazingly enough, although it was meant to end a couple of years ago. And we got $7,400 in this year, so in 2022, so I keep on reporting about that. We're at about 99% of that capital campaign, which is really a fantastic achievement. And that 99% is besides the other donors, special donors that we got. Next page, outreach. This is just a summary of the cash analysis of outreach. Does not touch food collected, clothing, all the other great things that that we do at All Saints. And so I've got a total there, showing a total of about 121,000, and you've got all the details where most of all of that, where all of it went to. So now we get to 2023, and starting with the parishioners, the pledges. As of 1/20, which is about a week ago, we had 125 pledges totaling 499,000. You've got the details there. So many cards remaining the same, the increases, the decreases, and returning members and new cards. Last year at the same time, we had 123 pledges at 477,000. So in general average terms, the pledges, each pledge average has gone up about 3%. Happy to report that since we put this report together, we've got another $1,300 in, so we will be over 500,000 for the first time in about 3 or 4 years, which is great. And it continues. The word hope comes up. Okay, the financial plan for the 2023 budget. And let me say that this is a proposed budget at this stage. The vestry has considered this in great detail, not quite at a point where they've accepted that budget, but we're working towards that. So I've presented you a proposed budget for 2023. And I need to point out something. The very first, in the middle column, under the 2023 proposed budget, pledge income is $499,203, not the $496,673. So I apologize for that. Again, that's me, not Ruth. Total income, $686,455. That's another change. It's a small change, only $2,000 roughly, so nothing too serious. You can see the various incomes that we got. Looking at the expense side, everything correct there. The budget shows expenses of $753,000. So there's a gap of $66,725 at this stage. I'd like to point out that I'm very comfortable with the staff that we have at this church. I think we have a great staff situation in the youth area. We've got a very good administrator who's just joined us, who's here for the whole year. Ruth continues to do her work for us, and of course Brian. So we've got a great staff in place to cover what I think are great programs ahead of us. So it really is a good situation. So you'll see that there are some increases in the lay employees' costs. And that's mostly because the youth director is going to be here for the whole year. We only had a youth director for probably between Maiden and Tiffany, probably 8 months of last year. We didn't have an administrator for 6 months at least of last year, and thank goodness for Nancy Hunter for doing such a lot of work for that.
and Fran Burkett.
and Fran, and Chuck to a very minor detail. Chuck will tell you otherwise. So, we have a proposed gap of 66,725, and we are working on that to close it for the year, and I'm sure that we will. And it's very encouraging that over the last 2 years, 2021 and 2022, we beat the budget. They may have been negative budgets, but we did better than them, so there is more hope for us. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Yesterday, Vic met with parishioners who wanted to make a deep dive into the budget and ask very intricate questions. And I know that you would be open to meet with folks if they have particular questions on
Yes.
that.
If anybody wants some more detail, I'm happy to stay behind and answer any questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Vic. Now we will hear from the Vestry Budget Task Force. And if you want to give them the mic, please.
Good morning. Greetings and blessings, including to the people that are watching online. It's exciting to be back together after 3 years of COVID. I don't know about you, but COVID really challenged me spiritually. And it's good to see everybody back, and then to see the growth, especially at the 9 o'clock service. We all need God. So many people don't realize that, but we need God and we need each other. This church is part of that. And we evangelize, we take God's good news to each other internally, whether it's the worship, and I didn't realize till I was on the vestry how many people are involved in putting on our services, from streaming to music, to the altar guild, to the flowers, the ushers, the greeters, lay readers, the chalice bearers. It's a group offering to God. So we're evangelizing internally. We're evangelizing to the community. We're taking God's message, Jesus' good news, to the community. Senior ministries, cooperative Christian ministries. I mean, I don't have a list, but it's a long list. And then finally, what's exciting to me personally is we're evangelizing the future. Just to see the growth in kids coming here. And we're not just evangelizing little kids. We're setting up the evangelist of 2040, 2060. You know, we're setting God's word into the future. So it's all very exciting. We've got the financial plan, which a lot of people have looked at. The vestry has stepped up, has all increased their pledges. When I first saw it, when I saw the shortfall, it's like, I need to step up. We're doing great things, and we've got to keep it going. So I'm asking your help today. The capital campaign several years ago raised all that money to get us out of deep debt, and the motto was to set free to serve. This year, we ask your help to help us to not just be set free to serve, but to set free to grow. So thank you very much.
So, like typically right now, you know, your vestry and the finance committee come together, and the vestry relies on the finance committee, and they have really worked hard to work on a budget. We look at our projected expenses, you know, and then we look at our income, and hopefully that will match. This year, unfortunately, it has not, and for the first time since I've been here, the vestry did not pass the proposed budget. But we need your help to close the gap, because there was a gap. And there are a few reasons for that. First of all, there was the extended pandemic closure. So this is the first time in 3 years that we've really all been together. We missed almost all of 2020. We missed all of 2021. So we're really excited to be back. And then there was also a flat pledge income because people unfortunately passed away. People unfortunately moved away. And there were hardships. And then there's been a big, inflation. Inflation has hit us all. So the Vestry and Finance Committee will be coming to you all again. Letters will go out. So please look out for the letter that you all will be getting this week and read it. And if you can help us, please do. Thank you so much.
Good morning. So I'm just going to reiterate some of the things that Vic told us and some of the things that Al told us and Fran. There are a lot of great things happening here. As Nancy said this morning in her sermon, we are a community of hope, and we're hoping that you can help us narrow this budget gap that we have. It's around $67,000, which seems a little scary, but like Vic said, the past couple years we've beat the budget, so we're hoping that we can turn to you all to help us do it again. Interesting figure that I kind of realized this week, parishioner giving in this parish equals about 85% of our income. So we really are the people that are keeping this church going and keeping these ministries thriving. Our giving covers things like utilities, administrative costs, and of course the salaries for all the wonderful staff that work so hard to keep our parish growing and keep things going for us. Even with the shortfall in this year's financial plan, like Fran said and like Al said, the entire vestry has gone back and re-examined our estimates of giving and have increased our giving for 2023. So now we're turning to you all. We know that giving might be a challenge right now. Inflation has affected us all. We're all on fixed incomes of one kind or another. Nobody has an unlimited income. But what we're asking is that you go back and if you've submitted an estimate of giving, maybe pray about it and have some hope and see where you can adjust and maybe give a little bit more. Or if you haven't already submitted a pledge, it's a really easy process. You'll be getting a letter from the vestry this week with a estimate of giving card. You can just send it back to us or email the office and submit your estimate of giving. It really does make a huge difference. We can only budget for the income that we know we're getting in. A lot of us put money in the offering plate every Sunday, but if we don't know that we're getting that money, we can't include it in our budget. So just put it on an estimate of giving card, turn it into us, and we can include that. Just to share a little bit of my own personal story, because, we are, I think, a big part of this parish. We're relatively new. We're a family of 5, 7 if you count our very hungry cats. We're on a fixed income. We're on one income. We homeschool our kids, and we submitted our estimate of giving a couple months ago. Recently, because of all the growth that we're seeing, especially at the 9 o'clock service, you can't really miss all the kids. It's a huge testament to the youth and family ministry growing and doing great things. Our family went back and reevaluated our estimate of giving, and we found some ways to adjust things in our budget, and we emailed the finance office and increased our estimate of giving. It's not something that we took lightly. We prayed about it. We are a community of hope. There's always room for hope. So again, we're turning to you all, and we're asking that you reevaluate and that you prayerfully consider how you can maybe increase your support for the parish this year. It really does make a huge difference, and we appreciate all of your support. Thank you.
Rhonda, why don't you stay in case we have any questions?
Any questions?
I think Reagan has something he wanted to say.
I wanted, first of all, it's hard to put a price tag on stuff, and I want to share with you a story you can't put a price tag on. A couple of weeks ago, we kept our grandkids 3 years old and 5 years old, and it can terrorize someone in their 60s to know that they've got to have things lined up to keep a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old busy. So we had a ton of activities planned to keep them busy and keep them out of trouble, and we were roasting marshmallows. We went to the Discovery Place. We went and got ice cream. We made pigs in a blanket. We made our own pizza. We did chocolate chip cookies. We did I say pigs in a blanket? Yeah, okay. And we roast, huh? Yeah. And we roasted marshmallows. And anyway, when the kids got back to their house, my daughter, who is in her 30s, I don't know how they do all this. I don't know how we did it, but they asked them, what was your favorite part about the weekend with your grandparents? And my 5-year-old granddaughter, Mary Marshall, said, going to church with rags. Well, that came out of nowhere. We had them here a couple of weeks ago, and you guys have done a great job. Y'all outshined roasted marshmallows. So, oh, that's my. I'm not Pop or Granddad. I'm Rags. So, but it's you can't put a price tag on that. And these young people showed up. They don't live here. We don't get to see them that often, but they felt something in this community. They connected with our youth director, and by golly, when they come back, we're not going to put marshmallows at the top of the list. We're going to get them to church on Sunday. So that's what I wanted to share with you.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, Ray.
Are there any questions for the Vestry Budget Task Force? Okay. You have the financial report. I would receive a motion to accept the financial report. Who? John Klein. And a second over here, Tom Bennett. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. The full reports of the parish committees have been made available to you electronically, and for those who have requested in hard copy. Ruth Brown is our amazing communications person, and she has really outdone herself again this year. I urge you to look at what she has presented and look at what your parish has done in the past year. I would accept a motion to accept the remaining reports as the annual report of All Saints in 2022. Motion? I can't.
I recognize it was Nancy Hunter.
Nancy Hunter,
I
yes.
recognize it.
And a second from Steve Proctor. All in favor? Okay, opposed? So now we come to the parish discussion, and here are the things I need you to do. I need you to make sure that you have at least 2 of these, and something to write with, or maybe y'all can share as well. Want you to gather in groups of 3, if you insist on 4, but 3 is with someone that you don't live with, maybe not someone that you have coffee with regularly. This is an opportunity to get to know people. So if everyone would stand up. And you have 2 questions. What are you excited about in 2023 as 2023 opens? And I said why, and if I'd known what I was preaching about when I wrote the agenda, I would have said, what is giving you hope? And those are the things that we want to put on those things. What you're excited about, what's giving you hope. And then also share about where you are going to, where you think you're being called to serve and insist a parish to grow and shine with the light of Christ. So what are you excited about? What's giving you hope? And where are you feeling that call to serve? Groups of 3, please move, mingle, and you have 10 minutes. And Kim said if you don't have anything to write with, she does. All right. Did he just?
You need one?